you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From high atop Talladega, Alabama, Talladega Superspeedway, welcome to the penultimate round of the regular season for the iRacing East Superspeedway Series. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Trapasso. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday evening. Let's get right to it. 2 races left, tonight and next week under the lights at Daytona, and then we go into the playoffs. Take a look at the point standings coming into tonight. James Lowe with a lock. Chris Worrell with a lock. Joe Gautier, Marcus Adams, Michael Anthony rounding out your top 5. Tim Henderson, Brian Chu, Shane Posey, Nick Wing, Ed DeBoer rounding out your top 10. Jason Papp, Greg McConey, Brandon Wilson, Brad Peters, Mark McFadden, and John LeBombard currently on the inside. It's going to take a big ask and a win for Scott Warren to get in. Austin Collins needs a win to get in. So there's still a lot to play for these next couple of weeks, and some of these drivers are really going to have to turn up the wick. Tonight we are in the Xfinity car, the B car if you're a member of the iRacing server, as we are fast approaching week 13 in iRacing, and the season 1 build will be rolled out next Tuesday. Take a quick look at the weather coming into tonight. Accurate weather conditions for today at Talladega. Just before 7:30 a.m. here in Talladega. 3-mile-an-hour winds out of the southeast. 65-degree ambient air temperature, 66-degree track temperature. Very cool conditions, which means these cars are going to be incredibly sketchy on cold tires. And that's something everybody's going to have to deal with. They're going to have to be mindful of that as this race wears on. As we are fast approaching the end of the practice session, these guys have been turning laps for the past almost half hour. The one thing to be concerned with is 69% relative humidity. This track is going to be damp. It is going to be slick. It is going to be cold. And tires without tread and those conditions normally don't bode well. However, if anybody can do it, I have faith in the iRacing Superspeedway series. Before we get going, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Media, as we have content. We now have content anyways, 7 nights a week. As tomorrow night, where is it? I know there's a schedule around here somewhere. Bear with me, folks. Nope, and nope. There it is. Tomorrow night, we will be having a special Sim Racing Media Reviews. Need for Speed Unbound. That'll be a 9 p.m. Eastern Time start on that one. And then Sunday, we return with the ISNF Cup Series at 5 p.m. Monday night, we've got the doubleheader with the Extreme Scoring Elite ARCA Series and the SCL Winston Cup Series, 8:30 and 8:40 times for those starts, and then the triple header on Tuesday. So a lot of racing left here as we come into the holiday season. Let's get that out of the way and get that on board. As looks like James Lowe, big shocker. Your points leader is going to be one of the first ones to roll it here tonight, as Lowe always early on the trigger to try to get his one qualifying lap in. You're not probably going to see a lot of guys waste time here tonight. Some of these guys, when we have afternoon races, they'll sit a little bit, hoping the track will cool off. The track's not going to get any cooler than it already is. Lowe going to be one of the first ones to lay a time down here. Chris Worrell out on track, Michael Anthony out on track, Brian Tarnowski, Joe Gautier, Austin Collins all out on track right now. As you can see, Lowe trying to use up as much track as he can, taking the longest way around possible on this opening lap, because it is one and done here for qualifying in the iRacing Superspeedway Series. You got to be able to get it done in one lap. He drops it down towards the mustard line, trying to take the short way around on this one flyer. Green flag underway as Lowe hugging that mustard line right there, about a tire width off of it, flirting with it through the middle of 1 and 2. Nice and tidy coming off of 2, down the back chute. He comes with a full head of steam right now. As we are going to pull up the dashboard for James Lowe. 138, 170, 180 miles an hour going into turn number 3. We're going to check that against some of the other guys that are going to be laying times here tonight. There's Brian Chu, Nick Wing, Ryan Decker, Mark McFadden all out on track right now. Lowe going to drop it down onto the apron coming through the trial. Very sketchy move there as the car loves to dance around. There's not a lot of grip down there, but it is the short way. Lowe going to set provisional P1 So here comes Cujo. Joe Gatti in the real tree. Camaro, he is going to slot into second quick. Chris Worrell slots in third. There's Mark McFadden out on track in the Pure Later ride. Michael Anthony coming around to complete his lap. That ball's Garana Supra. And Anthony goes P1. McFadden with a good head of steam coming into 1 and 2. He is on the green flag lap here. 175 miles an hour, a little bit off that mustard line. That might cost him a little bit. 177, 178. I guarantee you he's got his foot through the floorboard right now. 180 miles an hour before he hauls it into turn number 3. Ryan Decker jumps up to second quick. Nick Wing coming around in the Coors Light ride. Coors Light Toyota. Wasn't down on the apron for all of it. But as we've seen a lot of times in the past, it doesn't matter how far back you start. Mark McFadden comes around. Lap for McFadden, 7th quick. Greg McCauley out on track right now. Getting ready to take the green flag in the Purdue Boilermaker Ford Mustang. And I'm loving the way that car looks in the sunshine here. The spec map on the railroad tracks and on the letters and on the numbers. Just that gold looks spot on. Nice work, Greg. Scott Warren also on his first flyer. McConey drifting a little bit higher than we've seen a lot of other guys go down the back chute here. Still that 180 mile an hour buffer. That's all we're going to pretty much see out of solo qualifying here tonight. Still waiting on John LeBombard, Ed DeBoer, and Shane Posey to make appearances, as it looks like McConey and Warren are going to be the last two to lay a time, as we've only got 16 seconds. They're both going to have to hustle it. McConey's going to cross. Warren's going to cross. McConey jumps up to third. Warren goes to the pole. 53.91. 20 thousandths quicker than anyone else has gone tonight in solo qualifying. Take a look at tonight's starting grid, as I have to back that up. Before I forget, let me back that up. So Scott Warren setting quick time with a 53.906, 14 thousandths quicker than Michael Anthony. Ryan Decker going to start inside row number 2. He's going to be joined with Greg McConey. Row 3 is going to see points leader James Lowe and Brian Chu in his first full season with this league. Joe Gautier and Chris Worrell making up row number 4. Row 5 sees Timmy Henderson and Mark McFadden, with Brian Tarnowski and Nick Wing in row number 6. Row 7 is going to go to Austin Collins and Shane Posey. Ed DeBoer and John LeBombard rounding out the field of starters here tonight. As let me not forget to do this. There it is. That's what I wanted to do. 80 laps of scheduled distance, 65% fuel fill here tonight. As we are waiting for a couple of last-minute stragglers to grid up. Looks like we're just waiting on Chris Worrell right now. Worrell's going to pit start. Interesting idea. It's going to put him behind the 8 ball, definitely, but he might know something we don't know. It's hard to bet against balls out racing here at Talladega. But Scott Warren needs to win to get into the playoffs, which start in 2 weeks. Looking to make that happen here tonight. Warren has had 3 poles already this season. Let me double check that number because I know I'm wrong. No, he has had 3 poles. There it is. I was right. Shows what I know about second guessing myself. looking to turn that into a win. Gonna take a quick look at the weather conditions before we get going here. 66 and 66 as the tracks start to heat up just a tick. Not much, just a teensy bit. But this is going to get very fun very quickly. Field working its way into the Turn 3 complex. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Warren and Anthony going to lead us down to the green flag. 2 Fords and 2 Toyotas at the front of this field. Highest running Chevy so far is James Lowe, starting back in 5th. As the field works its way out of the Turn 4 complex, that pace car is going to make that lazy left turn down below that yellow stripe that I like to call the mustard line. There it goes. Warren has to maintain the field as the Geico restart zone is in effect. As he brings him into the triumphal do, I think it's left to say it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some boiled peanuts because it's time to get it on in Talladega, Alabama. Race fans, it's show time!
Green flag, green flag.
Warren drops a hammer, green flag comes out, and we are underway for 80 laps here at Talladega. The house that Big Bill built. Warren and Decker working that low side. They've got the nose out in front. Only 2 cars on the top shelf are going to be Michael Anthony and Greg McConey. As they have worked well together in the past, how well are they going to work together here tonight at Talladega? Tri-oval for the first time. Give the lap to Warren. As he immediately bails out on the top shelf, and going to hand the race over to Ryan Decker on the low side. Decker in that X-side number 3. Kind of an interesting combination. X-side in 3 on a Toyota. See today. Anyways, James Lowe immediately takes over the lane, drops down in front of Decker. That's going to let Michael Anthony lead the topside charge. Still has Greg McConey glued to his rear bumper. Decker now moves up. 2 Toyotas and a couple of Fords on that top shelf. Make that 3 Toyotas and 2 Fords on the top shelf. Decker's going to lead the lap. James Lowe trying to make something happen on the low side. Decker now bails out. Already has his bonus point for leading the lap here tonight. Michael Anthony now leads that second lane as Decker tries to fall back. Does not want to be the fuel pig here tonight. James Lowe, not a problem as he's got his teammate Ryan Chu to his back bumper. Cujo himself, Joe Gautier, sits in 3rd place on the low side. Count him 5th in race. As he's doing what you're supposed to do at a place like Talladega or Daytona. Do not, if you're the 3rd car in line, do not push the pusher. Lowe and Chu lock step right now as Chu bails out and gets some clean air to the radiator of that Toyota Supra, pushing on the Chevy of James Lowe. That is going to make Aunt Mary a very happy camper right now as her favorite nephew currently leading the way. Sally Hammond, thank you for joining us. Miss Vicky, pleasure to have you with us as always. Unfortunately, Jason Papp not here tonight. He is prepping his super late model car for Real World Battle tomorrow night at Volusia County. And Sally Hammond, let me make you happy right now. There is Mark McFadden currently being scored in 5th in that Purolator Ford number 48. Third car in line on the top side. Oh, Canada, make it happen. As there is a rule that if Mark McFadden wins a race, he has to run the entirety of the next season. So he's already got his win on this season. Here we go. So Greg McConey now leads that second lane. Michael Anthony bails out to pick up the 29 Austin Collins on the top shelf. Collins, one of the newest members of Balls Out Racing, trying to work together with Anthony. 3 wide down the back chute here at Talladega, working lap 5 of 80. James Lowe, Greg McConey at the front of this piece, leading their respective lanes. That third lane needs to get some help if they want to make anything happen. Those 2 Fords looking very strong on the outside lane right now. McConey leading Mark McFadden, trying to pull him along up there towards the front. Give the lap to McConey by half a car. Still 3 wide going to turn number 1. That is Michael Anthony and Austin Collins rocking that third lane. 2 Toyotas working well together. Everybody kind of mind their P's and Q's right now. Chris Worrell praying for a caution. As he, unfortunately, there he is coming off a 4, all by his lonesome. Having to pit start is definitely going to move him back. There is Tim Henderson in the 91, the Tire Pros Chevy, trying to make some headway on that low side. He's got Joe Gautier right in front of him. Shane Posey right behind him. Michael Anthony now leads the top side with help from Austin Collins. Give that lap to Anthony as James Lowe battles back on the low shelf. McConey just riding right now, as is Brian Chu on the low side. Austin Collins not trying to do anything crazy, as now that is Decker and Ed DeBoer working the third lane now up on the top shelf. Austin Collins looking like he was trying to go up to throw the block. Doesn't make it happen. Drag race to the stripe. Give it to Anthony by 2 ten-thousandths of a second, and we're about to be 4 wide, folks. Boy. Chris Worrell doing the right thing, getting up and out of the way as Anthony and Lowe now go side by side. 2 balls out teammates running door to door down the back straightaway. Chu pushing on Lowe. Collins pushing on Anthony. And here comes Decker and DeBoer. That is an angry hornet's nest right there on track. Boy, Decker's got to run on the top side. Give it to Decker by 2 ten-thousandths of a second. Still 3 wide. Everybody trying to use the side draft to get an advantage. Anthony looked like he was trying to play both halves against the middle. Still is trying to block the run of Decker. Decker too close to the wall to have any effect off Anthony. DeBoer almost gets into the wall going into 3. That's going to cost that outside lane just a tick, as they now have Chris Worrell up there for some company. Oh, contact. DeBoer into the wall. Keeps it collected. We were 4 wide there for a minute. Oy. Chris Worrell drops back to pick up Mark McFadden. They have the 10 of Nick Wing back there with them. As we're checking back up here in the front, as Brian Chu had to bail out to get some heat taken out of that engine. Here comes Austin Collins to the point, getting pushed along by Michael Anthony. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, I suppose. Anthony not being as aggressive as Collins was. Here comes Worrell on the top side to try to unlap himself the hard way. Three-wide situation, no help for the 6 yet. Here comes Ryan Decker looking to help Chris Worrell. Thinks better of it, stays with his Dudes Racing teammate of Greg McConey. James Lowe continues to show the way, working lap 11 of 80. We're expecting pit stop to be between laps 18 to 20, depending on how much you can save fuel. So far, James Lowe not able to save a drop. McConey and Decker working the top shelf now. Looks like Worrell thinking about going with him. Not sure where to go with this one. Drops down and picks back up with his balls out racing team in that low lane. Give the lap to Lowe by half a car. Austin Collins working the middle shelf. He's got Michael Anthony and Chris Worrell, two of his teammates there in lockstep in lane number 2. Lane 3, Greg McConey and Ryan Decker. Two Dudes Racing teammates running stem to stern right now. As there we go. James Lowe bails out to try to save some fuel. That's going to hand the lead of the low line over now to Michael Anthony as he drops down. Austin Collins thinking to himself, what do I got to do to lead a lap here? As McConey and Decker still with a good head of steam. They've got Scott Warren up there with them. McConey with a nose out front as they come into the tri-oval. Austin Collins now battles back, tries to give the lap to McConey by a full car. Decker and McConey both drop down. McConey goes right to the low side. Cuts off Michael Anthony as Decker throws the block on the 29 of Collins. Collins looks to the top shelf. Decker throws the block. Worrell there with him. That leaves Scott Warren all by his lonesome on the top side, working lap 13 of 80. McConey, Anthony, Decker, Collins, Gautier, Henderson, Lowe, Posey, McFadden, and Tarnowski, your top 10 as they currently sit. Throw a blanket over most of this field. It's head to 4, showing a lot of damage on that number 24 after getting into the wall. You can see the right side of that car is completely caved in. Oh yeah, there is a ton of right side damage, completely pancaked on the right side of that car as he continues to fall off the pace. 11 seconds now to John LaBombard, who is the caboose in the freight train up here at the front. McConey leading the low side. Worrell getting his lap back the hard way. Getting pushed by Ryan Decker. Worrell begging for a caution right now to try to get back on the lead lap. Only car being shown one lap down. As he now has the nose out front. He is technically back on the lead lap. So if something were to pop off, Worrell is in the catbird seat as Decker pushing on him. James Lowe, third car in line. Austin Collins and Scott Warren on the top side. Greg McConey, Michael Anthony, Joe Gautier, Shane Posey, and the 28 of Brian Tarnowski on the low side as Anthony bails out. Getting a little too much heat into that engine. It's now Decker leading the charge on the top shelf. Almost in front of... Oh, Decker got thrown to the dummy. He almost had the clear on Worrell. Waited a tenth of a thousandth of a second too long. Now Decker hung out to dry. McFadden trying to pick him up in that middle lane. As here we go, Cujo and McConey trying to work the top shelf as Lowe's going to lead another lap. Pushing his balls out teammate, Chris Worrell, who is technically on the last car on the lead lap, in front of this angry pack of Hornets behind him. We are fast approaching green flag pit stops here. 16 of 80 in the books. Worrell and Lowe have worked well together all season. All it's going to take is one oops, and Worrell is back on the lead lap and in contention. There has been a ton of speed in that Balls Energy number 6 Toyota all season long. Has not had the finishes to be indicative of that, unfortunately. But currently sitting second in points with a win under his belt. So he has clinched a berth in the playoffs. James Lowe, 1 win on the season, has clinched. Brian Chu, 2 wins on the season. Marcus Adams, a win. Ed DeBoer, a win. Brad Peters with a win. Mark McFadden with a win. Those are the ones that have clinched into the playoffs so far. All of them have shown up for enough races to qualify them for playoff contention. As the field still works its way around, working lap 18 as Gautier trying to get a nose out front, as is Posey. Those two Jawbone Motorsports teammates trying to make something happen as Decker shoving the daylights out of Gautier right now. Cujo making it happen on the top shelf, working the Realtree Camaro to the best of his ability right now. But here come those two Toyotas on the low lane and the middle lane. Posey with a nose out front, getting a lot of help from Greg McConey right now. McConey about half a car width off him to try to get some clean air on that radiator coming through the tri-oval. Gautier gets a good run coming into one, though. Didn't lead the lap, but now leads. As now James Lowe comes on the bottom side, taking the short way around. Posey has lost all of his health, as McConey has bailed out to try to get some cool air to the radiator of that Mustang. Here comes Scott Warren on the second shelf now, pulling Posey along. Gautier still leads the top side. Chris Worrell leading that bottom lane, currently being scored as the last car on the lead lap. He has gotten his lap back the hard way technically, but here comes Warren trying to side draft. He has the momentum as Posey goes to the top side. Give the lap to Warren by half a car. Here comes Austin Collins up through the middle with Brian Chu for drafting help. Two Jawbone Motorsports drivers of Posey and Gautier making it happen on the third lane. Now drop down to the second lane to try to get a run on Collins and Chu, as Scott Warren now shows the way on the low side. Chris Worrell is now a lap down again. Worrell and Lowe jump up to that second shelf. 3 balls out drivers running stem to stern right now. Lowe happy to use Worrell as the fuel pig. Austin Collins jumping down there as well. Brian Chu hung out to dry in the middle lane. Absolutely no help for the 18 right now. Here comes Posey on the top side. Cujo working with him quite well. James Lowe, your race leader, second car in line on the low side. Scott Warren jumps up to that middle lane as they are fast approaching the very wounded Ed DeBoer. DeBoer getting up and out of the way. As he does so nicely. Now he can drop back in line if he can. Good news is he does have a fast repair. Bad news is so does everybody else. Is what it is. As the 28 of Tarnowski sits in fourth, working side by side with Scott Warren, Shane Posey on the third lane, top shelf right now. He and Gautier need to get into that second lane and work with Brian Chu, or else it's going to be lights out. Now Chu and Warren on the second lane. McConey, Anthony, and Decker there as well. And with as single filed out as these guys are getting, I have to assume green flag pit stops are imminent. 65% fuel fill. I had it wrong. We're looking at 25 laps. 25 to 27, depending on how well you have saved. James Lowe currently has the lead of the race, as he is the second car in line on the low side. His teammate, Chris Worrell, trying to get his lap back the hard way, currently has that mission accomplished. Nobody going to bring it down pit side this time, as Scott Warren getting a good shove from Posey on that second lane. Warren with a nose out front as James Lowe is the car he's battling. Give the lap to Warren by a fender. Warren doing the right thing. He's trying to figure out how long it's going to take him to get to the front, and who he can work with and who he doesn't want to work with as this race continues to wear on. We are just past the quarter mark here tonight at Talladega, round number 11 of the iRacing Superspeedway Series. Thank you so much for making this part of your Friday evenings. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on Sim Racing Media, as we have racing 7 nights a week again, folks. Here we go. Dudes racing on the top side, working together. Decker pushing on McConey. They've got a run on the top side. One thing I have noticed through the analytics of some of these broadcasts is half of you that watch this aren't yet subscribed. What are you waiting for? Is it me? Do I turn you off of these races? I apologize if I do. If I do, go ahead and hit that thumbs down button, but make sure you hit it twice to make sure you got it. But if you like what you're hearing and like what you're seeing, be sure to give these videos a thumbs up. It really does help the channel share these videos around with the YouTube algorithm. The more thumbs up a video gets, the more likely it is to be shared around YouTube. We're to lap 26 of 80 as Chris Worrell leads the low side. He's being scored in 15th. Last car on the lead lap. As that is your race leader, James Lowe, right behind him. Austin Collins, he's being scored in second place, right behind Lowe. As Cujo jumps up to the third lane, no help at the end for the Realtree driver out of Nevada. McConey going to get pushed on by Scott Warren. Is now Nick Wing up there to help his two dudes racing teammates. Warren, your top running Canadian, as he sits in third place right now, or being scored in third, now second. Mark McFadden sitting in 10th right now. He is just out of camera shot there. We're going to get it down the back chute. There is the Purolator number 48 of McFadden. As McConey still showing the way here at the front. Warren giving him a good shove as Lowe gives a better shove to Worrell to get him back out on the lead lap. Let's just listen to the sights and sounds of Talladega for a couple of laps here. What do you say? As green flag pit stops have started, Anthony McConey, Lowe, Chu, Gautier, Henderson, Tarnowski, Collins, Posey, LaBombard, and Worrell all going down pit side. This quad pack of Warren, Decker, Wing, and McFadden decided to stay out an extra lap. They should be coming pit side this time. Yes, they are. All of them with a good head of steam. A little bit of lockup from Wing, a little bit of lockup from McFadden. Hang on to her, son. Question is, did McFadden get it slowed enough? We are going to watch this pit stop for the Purolator team. DeBoer and Collins got popped for speeding on, as did McConey. Oh, the horror. Chu still sitting in his box. McFadden did get popped for speeding. That is no bueno. As there are now multiple drivers begging for a caution. So here comes that chase pack. Chris Worrell. With a good head of steam by the time he's going to get to Warren and Decker. Now, Worrell doesn't really have to worry about winning the race here tonight. He's already locked into the playoffs. That's the good news. Scott Warren, on the other hand, in the This Is War Ford Mustang, does, in fact, need to worry about winning the race. We've got a three-car tango going right now. That is first, second, and 13th. Multiple drivers getting popped for speeding on pit road, going onto pit road. Greg McConey, Mark McFadden, Austin Collins, Brian Chu, Ed DeBoer, all popped. Now here's the bad news. There's McConey, absolutely zero help. Mark McFadden being scored as the last car on the lead lap, but not for much longer. As there he is crossing the stripe. There is Scott Warren, not that far behind him. Working lap 33 of 80. Green flag pit stops done and dusted. We are going to step away, pay a couple bills. We'll be back right after this.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media. What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
And we are back at Talladega, Alabama for race number 11 of the iRacing Superspeedway Series. And in case you're wondering what you're looking at, so am I. Scott Warren, leading the second lane, is your race leader. Mark McFadden has gotten his lap back the hard way. Technically, Greg McConey has his lap back. Not anymore, as here comes Warren being pushed by Chris Worrell, who is also a lap car. Michael Anthony, your second car, being scored as your second car, as Brian Chu now goes a lap down after being popped for speeding on pit road. Warren drops down in front of McFadden. That opens the door for Worrell to get his lap back the hard way. He has three of his balls out teammates up there with him. Austin Collins, he had two of them, as Austin Collins looks to get some clean air to the radiator on the number 29 United States Postal Service Toyota Supra. I apologize, folks. I'm not with it tonight. As now, Scott Warren is in a lap car sandwich. Chris Worrell technically has his lap back. Mark McFadden wants his lap back. Scott Warren is holding him up for doing so. Here comes Austin Collins on the top side with another lap car behind him. That is Greg McConey, who also got popped for speeding on the pit road under the three-flag pit stop that we saw earlier. Only about 12 or 11 laps in. It'll be working lap 12 of this fuel run for most of these guys this next time by. Hey. And a lot of these guys are getting a little bit sketchy out there. McConey drops down to get some clean air, get the car collected. Collins and Posey working the second lane. Posey being scored as your second place car. Ryan Decker on the low side being scored in third. A lot of lap cars that have some good speed up here in the mix. McFadden, McConey, Collins, DeBoer up there as well as Brian Chu is the caboose in this little freight train. DeBoer a couple laps down. McFadden -1, McConey -1, Collins -1, DeBoer -3, Chu -3. If Collins and Worrell can get their laps back the hard way, as they seem to be trying to do, that's going to open the door for Mark McFadden to get the free pass should something pop off. Just past the halfway mark here for round number 11 of the iRacing East Superspeedway Series. 80 laps in the Xfinity car here tonight, the penultimate round of the regular season. We will wrap the regular season next week under the lights in the trucks at Daytona. Now Collins and Worrell both have their laps back. That puts McFadden, that orange and white car, third car in line on the low side, in the free pass position. McConey racing him hard, as that is going to be John LeBombard getting ready to go a lap down here. Shane Posey going to pick him up. Now McFadden still in the free pass position as Warren using Chris Worrell as a fuel pig during this run. Letting Worrell punch the hole in the air. That lets Warren kind of ride. We've got contact. Collins into the wall. McFadden gets into a piece of it. How is that not a caution? As Decker has to go down pit road, he may get popped for speeding. Holy Christmas, what did we just see?
Yellow flag is out.
There it is. We're going to back this up a lap. And we are going to take a look right around where we are. It's going to pop off with Austin Collins. There he is, leading that second lane, getting pushed by Michael Anthony. Anthony trying to get Austin Collins his lap back the hard way and get the lead of the race for himself. Coming through 3 and 4, good head of steam. Collins goes down, gets into Warren, gets into Anthony. Hey. That was ugly with a capital UG. There's Nick Wing taking evasive action. McFadden goes through the grass. Wing goes through the grass. Now the question is, did McConey didn't hit anything. So if my math is correct, that should put McConey back on the lead lap. As we go back live, Warren going to go down pit road. McConey and DeBoer both stay out. This should spring McConey. Oh, yeah, no, there is front end damage there. Is it going to count? Let's find out. Yep. Springs McConey, putting him back on the lead lap. He's going to come down pit road next time by to burn his fast repair and get that Purdue Boilermaker number 12 back in ship shape. Nick Wing comes out. I don't know if he's going to get popped for unsafe pit entry. As I'm showing him last down pit road on lap 30. So apparently he did not come down pit road. Or he did this time and just didn't stop in his box. You can see heavy damage on the right side of that Coors Light Toyota Supra. Completely pancaked the right side of that car. And look who won the pony. There's the 28 of Brian Tarnowski. Wins the battle off pit road going fuel only. Tim Henderson gains some track position. Joe Gautier, fourth car in line there, comes out in fourth. I would expect Nick Wing to come down pit road this time. And apparently Chris Worrell did get to the start-finish line before, at the time, race leader, Scott Warren, who apparently spent some time getting some damage repaired. But Worrell able to get back on the lead lap, as is McConey. LeBombard back on the lead lap. Although he is coming down pit road now. So the 28 of Tarnowski going to have the button when we go back to green flag action. There he is. Take a quick look at that piece. And we are fast approaching a year ago that unfortunately we lost Stacy Tarnowski. Wouldn't it be something if Brian could come home with a win here tonight, driving her car? That would be amazing. McConey coming down for fuel only. No tires for the 12. Not sure how well that's going to work. As you can see, a little bit of damage on the 48 of Mark McFadden's car, being scored as the first car one or more laps down. So Tarnowski, Worrell, Gautier, Lowe, Anthony Henderson, Warren, Wing, Posey, and McConey, your top 10 and lead lap cars. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car. And apparently with as much of a cluster as that last wreck was, we're going single file. Works for me. Tarnowski going to have the button as the field works its way off turn number 4. Down the hill they come. Pace car makes that lazy left turn down below the mustard stripe. Looks like Chris Worrell, the only one on the outside lane. As as we come into the tri-oval and into the Geico restart zone. Tarnowski has the button.
Green, green, green.
Rolls into it. McFadden doesn't go. Oh, Tarnowski's a sitting duck. And everybody abandoning Mark McFadden. Chris Worrell now drops down to get a run on Tarnowski on the low side. Joe Gautier leads the line on the top shelf, getting pushed by James Lowe. Michael Anthony and Tim Henderson up there with him. That's a good head of steam that they've got going. As it took a little bit for Tarnowski and company to get up to speed. Lowe now fights it on the top shelf. Henderson, the third car, bails out so he doesn't get into Anthony, coming through turns 3 and 4. Henderson's going to try to make it 3 wide here, coming through the tri-oval. No help, no room at the end, as Lowe going to lead this lap from the middle lane, getting the daylight shoved out of him by Michael Anthony right now. Gautier and Tarnowski lined up on the low side. 2 by 2 by 2 they go. Nick Wing and Chris Worrell now working together on the top shelf. Lowe and Anthony still holding that middle lane, not wanting to bog those cars down. Scott Warren reeling them in. Going to make it a 3-car tango in the middle shelf. McFadden following Tarnowski around. Gautier shows the way on the low lane. Lowe getting a good shove from Anthony on the second lane, side drafting to kill the momentum of Gautier and company. Give it to Lowe at the stripe by half a car. Worrell is the first time he has been on the lead lap all night long and in contention. You see a little bit of damage on the front of that Supra. Nick Wing pushing on him with damage on the right side of his Supra. 30 laps to go as Worrell drops down in front of Lowe. It worked well for him the last green flag run. Can it work for him again? To quote the great Yogi Berra, it's going to be deja vu all over again. It's Worrell now with the nose out front. Lowe right there as well. Second lane has the momentum. They both have the clear and abandon Michael Anthony. That's going to leave Scott Warren as the only help Michael Anthony's going to get right now. James Lowe now jumps up to the second lane to try to get a run on his falls out teammate. Gautier gives the chrome horn to Worrell. Give him a bang draft down the back straightaway, or slam drafting as they used to call it in the Cup Series back in the early 2000s. They used to put boilerplate to line the front of the noses of the cars so that they could hit each other at high speeds and not have to worry about sending the carbon fiber through the radiator. Lowe and Anthony getting a good shove on the top shelf. Worrell rocks the bottom lane, working lap 53 of 80. Again, Scott Warren, third car in line on the top shelf, is a win to get in scenario. Same goes for Brian Tarnowski in the 28. McFadden already with a win here this season, has already locked himself into the playoffs. Now Worrell and Anthony working the top side with Warren. Oy. With some of these guys already having burned their fast repair, they're being a little more aggressive than I would think at this point in time. We still have a lot of racing left. We're not even at 20 to go yet, folks. Which also means we have not seen the final green flag pit stop. Let's hear some sights and sounds, shall we? like pit stops starting to take place. Most of the balls out team going down pit road that time. Michael Anthony, Scott Warren, James Lowe, Chris Worrell, and Austin Collins. Did anybody get popped for speeding on? I will keep you abreast of that. All of them down and away. Fuel only for all four. Austin Collins has been on pit road for the last 19 minutes, though. Heavy damage on that 29. Decker goes to the pits as this chase pack stays out another lap. Boy, that's flirting with disaster. Gautier shows the way. Tarnowski trying to get some clean air to the radiator. He's got McFadden in tow. McFadden, the first car, 1 or more laps down. Only 1 lap down to be exact. Gautier and Tarnowski at the front of this piece. They've got the lap car of McFadden behind them. He's got Nick Wing in trail, who is in 3rd. Shane Posey in 4th, back there as well. As are McConey, Henderson, and then the lap car, John LeBombard. These guys stay out another lap. Oh my goodness. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. As they're steadily pulling a gap on those cars that have already come down pit road. In the form of Chris Worrell, James Lowe, and Michael Anthony, who are running stem to stern right now. There they are, coming through the tri-oval now, trying to chip into that lead. They don't quite have it. Now, they do have the numbers. We've been told time and time again, 3 cars in a tango can go faster than this many cars in a pack. And they are starting to chip away at that lead with a 32-second pit delta, depending on how much fuel you take. This lead pack right now is going to have to figure it out quickly if they're going to hope to have time to make it happen. 15 laps to go here. Gautier, Tarnowski, Wing, Posey, McConey, Henderson, Worrell, Lowe, Anthony, and Warren. Your top 10 cars and your lead lap cars. McFadden and LeBombard. First 2 cars, 1 lap down. Decker -3, DeBoer -3, Collins still on pit road. Brian Chu has put her down the hauler. Be 65 laps in the books this time by. 14 to go. Question is, how much further can these guys go? As they were all last down pit road on lap 47. And they don't have the pit delta. The pit lane time, just from entrance cone to exit cone, 32 seconds. The gap back to Chris Worrell, James Lowe, and Michael Anthony, 30 and a half. As looks like Nick Wing coming down this time. McConey is in. They didn't want to wait any longer. It's going to let Tim Henderson get a shot at Shane Posey. Henderson in the slipstream with a good head of steam right now. And has finally caught Posey. The question is he going to do anything with it? The answer is no. He's going to sit back there and ride. Brian Tarnowski right now just riding behind Joe Gautier, using Gautier to punch the hole in the air. Tarnowski can run around here not at full speed and save some fuel. As something's happened. Oh boy. Okay, so Nick Wing and Greg McConey just went down to Chris Worrell and company. And they're going to have to reel those guys in quickly. There are Wing, McConey, and the lap car Brian Decker trying to make something happen, working very well together right now. Those three drivers have a mission. Take a quick look at the points coming into tonight one more time. Wing, pretty safe. Jason Papp, not here. Shane Posey currently sitting in third. Gautier would love to get a win on the season. Henderson would love one. Posey, Wing, all wanting one. McConey needs one to cement his way in. After missing a couple of weeks and dropping a lot of points, McConey he doesn't need to win, but he needs some good finishes. Currently sits 8th on track. And here we go. Pandemonium has started. Here comes Worrell and company as Posey wins the battle off pit road. There's Posey all by his lonesome. Here comes Wing and company. 11 laps to go. This is about to be a race, folks. Lowe and Anthony running stem to stern right now in formation. 10 laps to go. And they're steadily extending that gap back to Nick Wing as Wing's starting to chip into it. He's running out of time though. It's 2 3/4 seconds. Wing is losing time. McConey would be better off leading that little freight train as he's got the clean car. Wing has still got damage on the right side of that Supra. Decker with a tick of damage. Nope, Decker burned his fast repair finally. And they are steadily losing time to that lead group. 10 laps to go. They are running out of time. Worrell leads that three-car freight train at the front of this piece. James Lowe's Chevy is in a Toyota sandwich, but he's in safe hands. And he has 2 of his balls out teammates there with him. Of course, we're talking about the Balls Garana number 6 and the Balls Garana number 8 of Chris Worrell and Mike Anthony, respectively. And they are starting to pull away from Wing, McConey, and Decker. The gap is now 3 seconds. Wing needs a solid finish. McConey needs a solid finish. Both of them running in the top 5 right now. Eight laps to go. Chris Worrell shows the way. He's got the Pied Piper of Portsmouth behind him. We, of course, are talking about the one and only Mr. James Lowe. 2 Virginia boys with a Boston bomber right behind them. Chris Worrell, the pride of Suffolk, Virginia. James Lowe, the Pied Piper of Portsmouth. Coming out of turn number 4. Getting ready to put us on to 7 to go. And finally, McConey's going to take over the lead of this piece. Wing's going to drop into the caboose as Decker trying to shove on McConey. But Is it too little, too late? As it is a 3 1/4 second gap back to Michael Anthony. ...191 miles an hour for Chris Worrell at the front of this piece. These guys are not attempting to save fuel in one iota. Take a quick look at the weather conditions, exactly how we thought it was going to be. 66-degree ambient air temperature, 70-degree track temperature as the sun continues to rise. 6 to go. The 6 of Worrell shows the way. We're going to go on board with James Lowe just to see exactly what his temps are doing. Water temp looks golden on Worrell. Let's take a look at Lowe. Rock steady at 200 degrees. It'll be 5 to go this time by. Worrell, Lowe, and Anthony have carved out a 3.3 second lead over McConey, Wing, and Decker. Decker being scored a couple of laps down, though, not of contention. Michael Anthony backing up just a little bit, making sure he's got his engine temps where he wants them. And the pole sitter's curse continues for Scott Warren as he is sitting back there in 10th, 20 seconds off this lead group. Make that 30 seconds off the lead group, 20 seconds off of Shane Posey, who Gautier, Henderson, and Posey are a good 4 seconds off of the back bumper of Brian Tarnowski. And I take that back. Tarnowski's 4 seconds off of Nick Wing. There he is. Four to go this next time by. Worrell continues to show the way. He's unofficially led a ton of laps here tonight. After pit starting, got his lap back the hard way. Caution came out, which put Greg McConey back on the lead lap. After getting popped for speeding, McConey going to salvage a 4th place finish out of tonight, at least. Three to go. The gap is starting to come down ever so slightly with McConey leading that second group. But it's too little too late as it's still a 3-second gap. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 more laps to go this time by. Worrell still leading that freight train is Low, trying to get some cool air to the radiator of that SimCube number 99. What a season Balls Out Racing has put together so far. 5 members in the playoffs. Worrell, Lowe, Anthony, Adams, and Chu all qualifying for the playoffs here in the iRacing Superspeedway Series. Chu having a night he'd just as soon forget. Going to bring it into the regular season finale next week. Just trying to play spoiler for some of these guys. As Flagman has the white flag in the air. There he is. McConey and company back there. Too little, too late. As coming out of turn number 4 for the final lap, all bets are off as we race back to checkers. Anthony with a run on the inside. Worrell in the middle, low on the top shelf, coming to the stripe, photo finish. Give it to Worrell. Anthony in second, Low in third. Gautier gets by for fourth, and something happened to McConey. Oh, yeah. No, that is definitely no bueno. Something definitely happened to McConey. Let's go back and take a look previously. Let's see if we have it here. It's going to be back in here. Nope. So there's Posey coming out of the pit, stays low. So there's McConey passing Wing. Oh, there it is. Let's back that one up. So you can see Posey is the caboose in this freight train. Tarnowski shows the way. McConey and Wing running nose to tail as Decker blew up. Oh, don't do it. Tarnowski tried to go to the apron. Oh. Well, that explains what happened there. We are going to go. Where is it? There it is. There you see the victory formation for the top three drivers of Balls Carana. And we're going to start with the man who pisses excellence, the pride. I'm sorry, yes, I am speaking correctly. The pride of Suffolk, Virginia, Chris Worrell, congratulations on another win this season.
Well, thanks, Tony. Yeah, we're just the best to ever do it. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's unstoppable. You get us three out there up front, get a good old pit stop, and you just can't stop us.
Well, the biggest thing was, you got lucky there because all hell was breaking loose around you when you finally got yourself back on the lead lap and the caution came out.
Yeah, I saw that. I was lucky to get my lap back, and was thankful to be able to connect with the guys on that last run. And told the guys we should probably pit early. I think us three can push like hell and get a good jump on them, and that's what we did. Ended up beating them by like 4.5 seconds, or almost did. We slowed down at the end to try to get a good picture at the line, but we could have beat those guys by 4.5, 6 seconds, somewhere around there. But that felt good. That was fun, especially to do it with these two.
Well, Chris, again, you've already punched your ticket into the playoffs. Next week, we go into the night race with the trucks, regular season finale at Daytona. What are your thoughts going into that race?
Can't wait to go win it. I got this one. Mike James is next.
Well, James already has a win on the season, as does Michael, as does Marcus, and as does Brian. The only one left on your team winless this season is Austin Collins.
We need to get Austin up there. He had some unfortunate events, but he'll be ready to tear him up next week, that's for sure.
All right, Chris, who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
James Lowe, first and foremost, Michael Anthony, SRM, IES, Rowdy Energy, and all the guys that hang out with us and on our team and the chats.
All right. Again, Chris Worrell, congratulations on another win this season. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
All right, thanks, man.
And joining me now, the man that almost nipped his teammate at the line. Not for lack of trying, Michael Anthony, another podium finish, another sweep of the podium for Balls Out Racing. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it was a fun race. The fast repair definitely helped it out a little bit. Made it more entertaining, I thought.
Absolutely. You got batted around like a Broad Street brawl at the end of a Sox game.
yeah, I got tossed around there. I saw him wreck in front of me. Maybe I made a bad move and tried to hook left, but I think I was getting caught up in that regardless.
Well, luckily you had the fast repair. You were able to salvage it for a second place finish. 3 wide at the line with your 2 teammates. What are your thoughts going into next week's race at Daytona under the lights with the trucks?
That's did you say that's trucks?
Trucks at Daytona under the lights, regular season finale. And
yeah, that'll be fun.
You've already previously punched your ticket into the playoffs.
Yeah, we're just having fun now. Once playoffs start in a few weeks now, because I know we get a 2-week break. That's when we'll start picking it up again and racing for points and whatnot.
Well, you guys have already put 5 of 6 cars for Balls Out Racing in the playoffs. The only one left is Austin Collins. Are you guys going to actually work together as a team to try to get him there next week?
Yeah, we'll try and get him in there. I didn't know he was the only one left.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll try and get him in there next week.
Yep, because you've got a win. Worrell's got a couple of wins. Lowe's got a win. And Marcus Adams has a win, and Brian Chu has a win.
Yeah, we'll definitely push. I know a few races ago, we were trying to get everyone one of those wins. Like I said, I guess we didn't realize he didn't have one. If it works out, if he's still in the race at the end, we'll definitely try and push him.
Oh, there you go then. Mike, who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
My teammates, Chris and James, finishing first and third. Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, iRacing iFlag, Butt Kicker, Midwest Motor Customs, you, Tony, putting on the broadcast, Jason putting on the league, and my Balls Out teammates. I think I already said them, though.
All right, Mike, again, congratulations on second place here tonight. We'll see you next week in the trucks.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
And joining us now, the pride of Portsmouth, Virginia, James Lowe, yet another podium sweep for Balls Out Racing.
Yeah, what can I say? We put on a free clinic for him tonight. It was a butt whipping.
It absolutely was. Was that the game plan at the end? Is just race it out coming off of 4?
No, we actually let off to like 170, and we just all kind of crossed at the same time. Chris just happened to hit it first, but yeah, we had a really good run there. We decided to do something a little different and pit early, and Scott Warren decided to come down with us, and I think he screwed up his pit stop a little bit and got left behind there, but then we just kind of just worked it and kept pulling away.
Well, James, we go into the regular season finale last week. You're leading the points coming in tonight. You're going to maintain that points lead into the regular season finale. What are your thoughts going into the trucks under the lights next week at Daytona?
Well, hopefully we can go in there and do the same thing we did tonight, and maybe we'll have Austin with us or Jason or whoever else shows up, we'll get them a win too.
Well, Jason and Austin are the only 2 that have run with you guys this season that don't have wins.
Yeah, it ain't for a lack of trying. We've been trying to work these guys up into the front. Just hadn't worked out, but we'll get them there.
Sounds good. James, who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
Yeah, first and foremost, just thank my boys Chris and Mike and Austin and Brian Chu, everybody's in the Discord. My Aunt Mary Alice, I'm sure she's out there watching. Hello. Rowdy Energy, Midwest Motor Customs, Circle B Diecast, iRacing iFlag. You for broadcasting, you're the best one in the business. And
I try.
On to next week.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
Appreciate it.
So that brings another one to a close. Let me just put him back up there. So your finishing order: Chris Worrell, Michael Anthony, James Lowe. We already spoke to those three drivers. Joe Gautier was able to sneak out third place. Shane Posey in fifth. Nick Wing in sixth. Tim Henderson, Brian Tarnowski, Greg McConey, and Scott Warren rounding out your top 10 and lead lap cars. Mark McFadden has already punched his ticket into the playoffs, so he's kind of safe right now, back in 11th. John LeBombard, Ed DeBoer, Ryan Decker, and Austin Collins rounding out your top 15, with Brian Chu rounding out the field, as that brings tonight to a close. Thank you so much for making this a part of your evening, folks. We will see you next week at Under the Lights at Daytona in the trucks. Looking forward to the regular season finale. And then the fun begins again as we go into the playoffs. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time as we have another Sim Racing Media reviews as we review the new Need for Speed game. Be sure to join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for that. Hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, share. This is Tony Trapasso. Remind you, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again and as you walk down the road of life this week, all I ask is whatever you do, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.